Okay, so 2.4, its title is Solving Equations with Variables on Both Sides. Okay, when you do this, this is what I always do. Little notes of things important. Always move the variables first. If you have two variables, right, one side has a 5x, the other side has an 8x, do you know which one you should move? You should move one, you should only move one of them. Which one should you move, the 5x or the 8x? The 5, why? You should move the smaller number. What if they're both negative? Technically, which one's the smaller of the number? Technically the big one, right? If I negative 5x and negative 8x, technically negative 8 is the smaller number, right? So that's the things to think of. If they're one's negative, one's positive, it's pretty easy. Okay, then does it matter what side your variable's on, the left or the right side? No, it doesn't. I know you've always been taught to always put your variable on the left side. It actually doesn't matter. Now, if you have the choice and you like it, put it on the left side. It feels right to put it there. Even I feel that. But if it does not matter, it makes your life harder to move things to the left, don't do it, because we have to always have variables that are positive. That is always our goal. Okay? So, all we got is examples. 2 plus 5k equals 3k subtract 6. So we need to combine our like terms. Always move the variable ones first. Which variable term am I going to move? The 3k. Is it positive or negative? It's positive. So what am I going to do to take the 3k and move it to the other side? Subtract it. I'm going to subtract 3k. I'm only going to subtract it from what? The 3k and the 5k. Why? Because they are like terms. They both only have k's. Now, don't forget to write the k underneath it, right? Because I have 3k's. I took 3k's away. They're gone. All I'm left with is negative 6. On the left side, I had a 2. Didn't do anything with it. 5k's minus 3k's is how many k's? Plus 2k, which is kind of funny. Okay, now, do we still have like terms within our equation? Yes or no? Yes. 2 and 6 are like terms. What are numbers called? This was a question we did in the first chapter. What are numbers called that don't have variables? Starts with a C. Constants. A coefficient is a number attached to a variable. A constant is a number that has no variable. So which one are we going to move? This one is not based on the lower one. What's it based on? Think about what we just did in 2.2 and 2.3. We're trying to solve for k. So you're always just thinking, which one is going to help me get closer to getting k by itself? So which number are we going to move? We're taking away this little 2 because you want this k. Think about just the last section. You want to keep this k here and move everything away from it. So subtract this 2 that's by itself away from that. So then you have 2k over here equals, what is negative 6 subtract 2? Negative 8. Now I have 2k equals negative 8. What do I do? Divide by 2 on both sides. What do you get as a final answer? Negative 4. Double check that you're writing, 1, the line for division, and 2, that you're writing the right thing you're dividing. There are some of you in this room that took that quiz and got the answer wrong because you accidentally flipped your division either when you typed it in or when you wrote it down. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention. Sometimes we work too fast and we make little mistakes like that, okay? Another example. How about, I won't be that mean yet. Okay, how about 5a plus 2 equals 6 minus 7a. Now in this case, always variable first, which variable are we going to move, the 5a or the 7a? The 7, because why? Because it says minus 7a, which really means it's negative 7. So what do I do to move it to the other side? Yep, add 7a. Don't forget the a. If the variables confuse you, always think like, I have 7 apples. Like think about it being something. So you don't try to cancel out your variables. So then I have only 6 over here. What's 5a's plus 7a's? 12a's. Bring down the things you did not touch, so plus 2. Now, what are we going to move next? Because now, when we only have one variable, we want to get everything away from that variable. Subtract 2 from both sides of the equal sign. 12a equals, what's 6 minus 2? 4, correct. How do we get a by itself? Divide by 12. Now, what do you notice? What do you know about the number 4 and 12? They are both even. So can this fraction be simplified? Yes, they can both be simplified by dividing them both by what number? You want to know? So 4. What's 4 divided by 4? What's 12 divided by 4? Your answer is 1/3. The only thing to remember is if it starts with whole numbers and everything, I want fractions. What's the only time you think you're allowed to give me decimal answers? There's a good one. Or if it starts in decimals. So if it starts with 5.2a plus 7 plus 6.7a, if it starts with decimals in the problem and it ends with decimals, you can leave it as a decimal. That's the only time, okay? But yes, if it says to, for sure. Let's make these a little harder. I have to get another board though, because I'll use the back of that. Let's throw in some parentheses. Let me scoot this way. How about, I don't even know what number. Okay, 3. How about 6 parentheses 5m subtract 3, close your parentheses, equals 1/3 parentheses 24m plus 12, close your parentheses. So this problem is literally taking everything we have learned basically in this class so far and mixing it together. When you see parentheses and numbers right outside it, what is your first instinct? To distribute. What operation really does mean to distribute? What operation uses distribution? Multiplication. So separately on both sides, just distribute. Distribute the 6 to both numbers. Distribute the 1/3. Luckily, the 1/3 keeps those things as whole numbers when you're done. So distribute. See if you get the same thing as I do. When you distribute, other than mine's are really crooked. Did you get the same answer as me? It's okay if you don't work as fast as I do too. I'm trying to take my time, but I can't help it. When you distributed, did you get the same answers as I did? Okay, now you got variables on both sides, so what are you going to do? Subtract what? Which one? 8. Subtract 8 m's. I got 8 m's. I'm going to take them away from both sides. I only got 4 over here. He's lonely. What's 30 minus 8? 22 m's. Now that I only have one variable, just solve it. Get m by itself. What are you going to do first? Add 18 to both sides of the equal sign. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. Eventually, you'll start saying my sayings over and over again. What is 4 and 18 added together? Oh, man. Divide both sides by 22. What do you get? M equals 1. I know that's scary when that happens. You're like, am I wrong? or when you get 0 as an answer. Okay. Now, scary. Let's talk about this. 5x plus 5 equals 3 parentheses 5x minus 4, close your parentheses, minus 10x. This class always goes by so fast. What are we going to do first? Distribute. After we distribute, what do you notice is going on the right side of the equal sign? 2 x's on the same side. When you have multiple variables on the same side, should you combine those first? Yes. What do you do with those? Do I go, oh, the opposite of this and do it? No, you do exactly what it says. So I have 15 x's and negative 10 x's. So I combine those. What's 15 x's minus 10 x's? So I have 5 x's, and then I bring down everything else. Then bring down the other side. Now that you only have a variable on both sides, move one of the variables. What do you notice? They're the same. So when I subtract 5x from both sides, because they're the same thing, right? What happens? No. What is anything subtracted itself? If I have five donkeys and I take them away, how many I got left? 9. So that's gone, and that's gone. What do you got left? Negative 5 on this side equals negative 12. Close. Is this true? No. If this is not true, 1, that's what it looks like. You put the diagonal line through it, you know, the anti-bullying sign, like that. It is no solution. Now, if I were to cancel them out, because sometimes it happens, but I would get this answer. Anything. It literally doesn't matter. If I get 0 equals 0, or 15 equals 15, or Isaiah equals Isaiah, it doesn't matter what I get. What's the answer, Isaiah? Oh, no, I'm just losing my mind. It doesn't matter. I got so hyped up that I got crazy. Anyway, does anyone know what the answer is if I get the number equals itself? No. Infinite solutions. So sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you get a word answer. So pay attention, make sure you're distributing correctly. The math's not hard as long as you can do 1 step and 2 steps. Infinite. That's how I spell it. Yeah, fine. Fine. Fin, like a fish. That's correct. See, that